Tropical storm Choi, known in the Philippines as Tropical Storm Dante, is a currently active tropical cyclone over South China Sea, the third named storm of the 2021 Pacific typhoon season. Choi originated from an area of low pressure, located south-southeast of Guam near a brewing system, fueled by an environment favorable for tropical cyclogenesis. It developed into a tropical depression 2 days later as it moved westwards. At 0000 Coordinated Universal Time on May 31, the system strengthened to a tropical storm and was named Choi by the JMA. Although the storm was still located in the conductive conditions off the Philippine Sea while moving northwestwards, a tropical upper atmospheric trough to the northeast halted the system's rapid intensification. With Choi convection displaced to the south of its circulation on satellite imagery, heavy rains caused floods in parts of Mindanao. 8 fatalities were reported and 15 persons missing. As of May 31, 612 people were affected and 604 people are inside evacuation centers. On May 27, the Japan Meteorological Agency south-southeast of Guam, the convection's nearby environment exhibited low vertical wind shear and warm 29 to 30 degrees Celsius. The Pagasa then named the storm Dante in its first tropical cyclone bulletin for the storm. Choi intensified further in the Philippine Sea and the JTWC had determined that the depression strengthened into a tropical storm. Later on, the Japan Meteorological Agency also upgraded the system into a tropical storm, and the storm was then named Choi. Choi center was exposed due to a tropical upper tropospheric trough from the northeast, inducing shear on the system. The PAGASA's model tracks for Choi shifted further west, which caused the agency to raise signal No. 2 warnings in coastal areas on the eastern side of the Philippines. At 20:30 PHT, Choi struck Sulat, eastern Samar as a minimal tropical storm. Midway through its transit through the Philippines, the JTWC then downgraded it into a tropical depression. It then made a second landfall on Esperanza on the island of Masbate. Then, it made a third landfall in Balud, Masbate at 3:30 a.m. Philippine Standard Time. It traversed the straits then made a fourth landfall in the island of Romblon. It crossed the straits then made a fifth landfall in San Agustin, Romblon. Choi then headed northwest, and then making a sixth landfall in Pola, Oriental Mindoro. It traversed the island of Mindoro before exiting into the Verde Island Passage. Choi then made a seventh landfall in Marincaban Island, Tingloy, Batangas. It then crossed into the before making an eighth and final landfall in the Calatagan Peninsula, before exiting back into the West Philippine Sea. As of 12 o'clock Coordinated Universal Time June 3, Tropical Storm Choi northwest of Manila, Philippines. Maximum 10-minute sustained winds are at 40 knots. The minimum central barometric pressure is 1,000 hectopascals, and the system is moving north-northwest at 10 knots. For the latest official information see. As Choi June 1. 2 landfalls in Masbate followed. First in Katangan at 1 a.m. PHT on June 2. Then San Agustin at 8:50 a.m. PHT. A sixth landfall followed in Pola, Oriental Mindoro at 2 p.m. PHT as the storm headed west-northwest in Mindanao. Heavy rains caused flash floods and landslides from May 29 to June 1, affecting at least 2,642 people and destroying crops. Floods killed a girl and left her father missing in South Cotabato, and drowned a man in Davao del Sur. A landslide killed a baby in Davao de Oro. At least 604 people were forced to take shelter in evacuation centers in Davao City. Damage to agriculture in Mindanao was valued at 14.6 million pesos. Elsewhere, classes were suspended and workplaces closed in Sorsogon on June 1 and 2.